Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today it's time for a preview talk as we're just 2 days away from the next VFC round in Imola. And I'm pretty excited about that, to be honest, because it's a track I've never been driving on that much and I only had one race there back in 2014. Actually my penultimate race before my break and my last pole position, by the way. So I don't think it's gonna be pretty likely to end up there in 2 days. Even though our confidence is at a high level at the moment, especially after the race we had in Brazil. Just in case if you haven't checked it out yet, I will put the link down below for you to watch how it all was. But to put it down in a nutshell, I mean, it was a positive race. We had a great teamwork together as we worked hardly on a setup. We had a good car balance, of course. The engine power advantage helped us a lot on the long straights. But what to me, in my eyes, comes out the most is the amazing teamwork we had together. Especially strategy-wise, to switch from the two-stop strategy we planned in first place to roll the dice on the others and put myself on a one-stop strategy. Because with that, I had a better chance to end up on a podium, and I was on P3 for quite amount of time. But at the end, I recognized that I had no chance at all to defend off these guys on a soft tire as my tires were about to die, and I grabbed what I can get. I mean, P5 is, for me personally, the best result since I think it was in Japan 2019 where I had my podium. And of course, with Lucas winning it, it is just the best comeback story for us, especially what we've been through in 2020. So with Lucas Schmidt winning the race by 37 seconds ahead of Sven Schubert, who had a collision in lap 1, came back to P2, and his teammate Peters, despite being second almost all the race, after just a slight tangle with Schluter, he finished on P3. While at the same time, Schluter got a 5-second penalty for the collision he had with Peters in a final lap, putting him down to P4, where myself finished up, as I said, with a one-stop strategy on P5 and Knežević with only 0.1 seconds behind me. On the other side, the Newman guys, Barwick and Walborn, as much as Cooper McAllister, were out of contention after the lap 1 pile-up and finished up in P21, 22 and 23. By finishing second, Sven Schubert got the championship lead with 1 win and 34 points, while Lucas is just 2 points behind him on P2 and has as many points as Alex Knežević. All the 3 guys ahead were able to win 1 race. Kevin Peters is 4th in the championship with 26 points and his victory yet to come. McAllister with 22 is 5th. Jannis Walborn with P15, a bit further down after the last race with 15 points, and there's myself only 3 points behind the 2019 champion on P7. In a team table, Volksmobil leads the championship with 60 points, just ahead of Clifford with 54, and Cesario with only 10 points behind the second place on third place. Equipus-Aldo, I think the biggest surprise of all, is now on 4th with 24 points, ahead of the 2019 champion Newman Racing with 19 points. And that is quite remarkable for the Spanish team. In those 2 weeks' time, many things has happened, so there are plenty of news to report on, some good and maybe some bad ones. The only bad one we have is that Alex Knežević decided to retire from the current season and will no longer offer his duties for the Clifford Royal Racing team. Which is, in my opinion, a real shame because he's such a great driver. I mean, he's 3rd in the Drivers' Championship right now with 1 win already. And yeah, he's just an amazing driver. It's such a shame to lose someone like him, but he had his reasons to make this decision and we all have to respect that. But I hope to see him in a grid next year. He's just a great competitor I really like to race with, and yeah, just big shame. Kevin Peters at the same time, still remaining in championship thankfully, is now ready to get back the points he lost in the first 3 races against his teammate, who's the championship leader right now. And he decided to take a new power unit for the Imola race, which is also pretty demanding on the engines, requiring a lot of power. Cesario on the other side, Lucas and myself, we decided to stay on the engine we had in Australia, even though we are now down on power, but then capitalizing from that on the other end of the season. the Newman Racing team finally got their long-awaited level 3 downforce update, which for them is pretty helpful as they're pretty much relying on a downforce. But I think it's gonna be still pretty helpful for them, and you always have to reckon with those guys. Clifford and Beta Julia at the same time are now happy to get their level 2 aero update, allowing them to go a bit faster on the long straights without losing too much downforce. The San Marino GP is the 4th round, and we're using the 2018 version of the track with a very long start-finish straight. The track length is 4.909 kilometers with a race distance of 46 laps. 19 turns in total, so a lot of work to do for us drivers. Lucas Schmidt, by the way, is the last winner back in 2018. Is it a positive sign for things to come? We don't know. But also the motivation for the Cesario team is now on a high level as well, as this is more or less a home Grand Prix for us. Another key factor is the question strategy or overtaking, as this long straight offers good chances, but the rest of the track is pretty difficult to follow other cars and overtake elsewhere than into Tamburello. But the biggest question of all those is, what's about the Dame weather? We have a chance of 80% for rain and just chilly 13 degrees air temperature. A cold and wet race on such an unforgiving track. I think the question should be hero or zero, because either way, you either win it or you fuck it up. And I think this is gonna be the biggest challenge for everybody. But enough talking for now. After such a race we had in Brazil and a strong amount of points we got as a team, you can certainly say that our confidence is sky high at the moment. But on the other side, Cesario and rain, saying it in one sentence, just doesn't feel good. And I think looking at the past, there's a reason why. I mean, our brake disadvantage gets reduced if we are in a wet, which is a huge disadvantage in the dry. But despite a strong package, I think we can be strong. But on the other side, I think Volksmobil and Russia GP also are looking good. So if it stays dry, which is unlikely, it will be difficult to win another race for Lucas. But if it's wet, you can never know, because mostly it's just a gamble. That's what it is. But for first, thanks a lot for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you want to see more. And see you then on Monday for my race review. Goodbye.